Hey there, welcome to Old Man Runner. Today's video, I'm going to review the Buckeye Marathon 2022. I'm making this video because I made a preview video, so obviously the thing to do is to make a review video, and in this video I'm going to tell you how I got on. After the Chicago Marathon in 2021, I was looking to find a marathon to run in a warm climate. I was also looking for, I don't like loops. I find loops really hard to do. I find it very hard when you've finished one loop to race right back to where you already are. I find that really hard. So I was looking for one that had one direction. Also in Chicago, I found it difficult in the second part of the race to run away from the point that I knew I had to come back to because there's a tall tower beside near the finishing line, and you're thinking, I'm running with that to my back. So in this one, in Buckeye, you run from one point right down to another point, essentially along a highway. And that struck me as something that I really wanted to do. I was interested in learning the craft of marathon running, and I kind of wanted to run where I didn't see too much stuff but could just concentrate on the running. And so I picked Buckeye and entered the race. There were numerous challenges to getting here. The COVID is obviously the biggest single one. I had to have a negative PCR test before I could fly to America. And at the point of departure, I would have needed a negative PCR test to get back into Ireland. So I was prepared for both of those, but it meant a lot of isolation initially. Certainly all Christmas isolating, and there's always worry. I mean, the virus levels are high in Ireland at the moment with Omicron. So that was a big worry, I have to say. The other thing is that my training went really badly. I had a very bad knee injury at one point in time. I couldn't walk, I couldn't do any speed training. So when I came over, my real aim was to find out about marathon running. Now, I had broken 4 hours before. I'm 58 years old, in Chicago. And in this particular one, early on, my target would be to break my personal best. But as the training went so badly, really at one point in time, I didn't think I could even finish a 1K race. And there's a 1K, I think a 10K, a half marathon, all as part of the Buckeye Running Festival, I guess. So I was a bit worried that I might have to, I'd already booked the flights and all that. So I thought I might have to book down to those. But in the end, I didn't. I managed to work the knee okay. I mean, I couldn't do any speed work, but I managed to get back running. And I thought, yeah, I could probably, but you never know, finish the marathon. The run starts at a baseball field north of Buckeye, and there was supposed to be 300, at least I thought there would be about 300 in the race. Turned out there was, at the start line, I think there might have been 140 or something like that. I think there was 96 finishers. And I had thought in advance that you might spend, because it's along a long highway, and you'll see, I made the preview, I'll link it at the end, you can see the whole route. But I wanted to do that, the sheer nothingness of running. I was really interested in that, but I was afraid I'd spend my time right up someone's butt the whole time, but that actually didn't happen. But that was a concern. But with 96 finishers, the field was incredibly well spread out. It was very relaxing at the start because I'll show some pictures here. It's very beautiful. We started at 8 o'clock in the morning, and obviously it finished time of around noon. It started at 8 degrees, I think it's about 48 centigrade, about 46 Fahrenheit, and it finished, or it was supposed to finish at about, I think, 17 degrees centigrade, which I think is in the mid 60s. And so people wore all sorts of stuff. I decided to wear a singlet. I saw very few people in singlets. I saw people in full body stuff. Jonathan, who I met at the end of the race, was in his full Marathon des Sables or whatever it is in the desert. He got the thing over his head and down. I saw another guy running in just shorts and a bandana. He was on the podium, and so people were in all sorts of things, but essentially I was dressed for when it warmed up. So the first bit was going to be a little bit cool, I thought. I put on lots of sun cream and wore a sun hat, because you're going to need to do those things, and all of that worked really well. All my kit worked really well. You can see I put on sun cream, I put on my Gold Bond friction stuff, I put on some lip balm, and I had no issues whatsoever on the day. You pre-clear US Customs in Dublin, which is a great relief. I mean, it's always you're always nervous about visas and things like that, but the border agent in Dublin was super friendly, asked me all about the marathon, and it was really nice, very pleasant. And then I flew American Airlines to Philly and then to Phoenix. Very easy, simple flight over. I rented a car off Hertz, and 40 minutes later I was in the Holiday Inn, which was the hotel of choice for the marathon. And all was really easy. So at the start of the race, there was none of that sort of jockeying for position that you get in a lot of races. With only 96 people in it, you could pretty much just rock up to the start line and go. There was lots of porta potties around, or portaloos, and there was actually a physical toilet as part of the baseball installation. So all of that stuff was really easy. None of the fraught stuff I had in Chicago. Simply started. My intention was to, because of the knee injury, my intention was just to finish. I thought I would like to go out at 5 minutes 39 a kilometre, or about just 9 minutes 9 seconds, to get just under 4 hours as my target, and I wanted to metronome it. I wanted to go steady all the way. None of that happened. I went out too fast as usual. Well, I didn't go out too fast. I went out at a pace. I went out, instead of 5:39 a kilometre, 5 minutes 39 seconds a kilometre, I went out about 5:18, 5:19. But I felt really comfortable, so I thought, I tried to slow down to the 5:39, which was my plan, but I found it harder to run at that pace, so I just kept at the 5:18. Thought I'll just keep going and see how we go. And I felt really comfortable at that pace. In Chicago, I went at a pretty much similar pace, but I felt I was pushing it. This time I didn't really feel I was pushing it at all. And I thought that the race, there wouldn't be much to see, but wow, there's loads to see. I had done something which I'd recommend. Is I'd gone around one of the local parks, and I'd seen lots of signs about what the different cacti were and the different plants and things like that. And I found it absolutely mesmerizing looking as because you start in near darkness. I mean, it's just dawn, and then watching the sun come up. Arizona is an incredibly beautiful part of Earth. I've been to lots of places, thankfully. This is one of the most spectacularly beautiful places, and to watch the sun coming up in the desert is really lovely. I'm not in Buckeye at the moment. I'm in Monument Valley. It's fantastic, but Arizona is truly beautiful. When I headed off into the race, at about the 4th mile, my legs started to hurt a little bit, my knee, and I thought, uh-oh. But I'd watched this really good Bob and Brad video, which was all about how, depending on the incline on the road, you should vary it, because sometimes if it's all going down that way, run in the opposite direction back. In Ireland, the crown tends to be in the middle of the road, and you can go down one side, back another. Anyway, in this particular instance, I felt a little twinge in my knee, and I just moved across a bit so that the gradient was slightly different. And I felt great, and I did that a lot during the race. I sort of went up and back in terms of the side of the road. It was well coned off, and so I kept going at 5:18, 5:19, and that was okay. And I got through the halfway point, and then I thought, look, if I have to ease back, I'll ease back. The one thing I didn't want to do was walk. In the end, I didn't. And I found that it was very easy in Chicago. I didn't know in Chicago where I was at any particular point in time towards the end of the race. I hadn't studied the course well enough. With Buckeye, I had looked at it on Google Street View beforehand, and then I made a video, again, which I'll link at the end, driving around it. And so I felt the course was really noble, and I knew it was going to get tough right about the point where I hit this place called Tartesso, and so it proved out to be. And I don't hit a wall in a marathon. I just find I slowly grind down. I can look at the watch and see that my time is getting slower. That's what happened. But I kept going. I just kept going at it. Towards the end, there's a ramp up to I-10. And I thought I'll just increase pace up onto the ramp a bit. Increase the slow pace. But I did. And then you get down, and then it's just downhill. I was going up. I was massively impressed. Jonathan, I got to know Jonathan afterwards. But Jonathan went way by in his Metaspeed Skies. Got better use out of him than I did out of mine. But I still felt great, and watching him disappear into the distance. And then you turn around and you finish in Buckeye Airfield or Airport, near to the runway. It was beautiful. It's a really small, intimate race. There were skydivers coming down. It was nearly a catastrophe. I said there. It was tandem, so that's, I guess, people who aren't used to skydiving go with an instructor. They jump out, and they were coming down. And because people had arranged all these portable toilets, this guy, he missed it by, I don't know, a meter, coming down through. The person on the front must have had a hell of a view. Anyway, it was wonderful. And then there was a shuttle back to the start where I parked the car. A very easy, happy, friendly marathon. And funnily enough, I did a personal best. I really was not expecting it. But I did. I ended up on the podium. Okay, it's only 96 in the race, but I was third in my age group, and that was deeply satisfying. Yeah, I enjoyed it immensely. I was surprised there weren't more people in the race. For me, it was a perfect course, really well organized. There were portable toilets along the way if you needed to, if you got caught short, to use a phrase. There was goo bars handed out. I brought my own nutrition, and there was water every now and then. So it was a really perfectly well organized race. In terms of nutrition, I ate what I always eat. I had a Morton's gel every 6 kilometers, alternating between caffeine and non-caffeine. It all worked well. I find it boring. I mean, I don't look forward to eating it or not look forward. But I ate it on schedule, and I just took sips of water. I'm a light sipper when I'm running. I hydrated well before it. I also ate the same food I always do. I ate oatmeal in the morning with bananas and raisins, then put some milk in it, had some coffee. I had lunch, and this for the 3 days up to it, I had Dave's Killer Bread with some cheese, and then I had pasta in the evening. I actually brought over some Huel, but I actually had real pasta that I could get fairly easily, and I ate all that. There was a microwave in the room. All of that worked really well. I then drank a Morton's 500 milliliters the night before and also on the morning, and it was perfect. I had absolutely no issues. The running kit went really well. I bought about 5 different pairs of shorts for this particular run. I'll review them at some stage, thinking I might do various things. And in Chicago, I'd ran with the Satisfy running pairs, but the gels kept bouncing up and down. Turned out I had a really great pair of Janji shorts at home that fitted the gels, fitted the foam down the side, and fitted my car key really handily in the front. I rented a car from Hertz, turned out to be Ford. They have a great system of, you have a keypad, so you wouldn't need to bring the key at all. You can sort of do a pin code on the door frame. But because it's Hertz, they disabled that, which I think makes sense the more I thought about it. You can also take out the key and have a blade key, but I took the whole key. That didn't bother me. I wore both watches. Turned out to be fine. I wear this one anyway, and I bring the phone just in case. The hat had a little zipper pocket, which is fantastic. I put a credit card and my driver's license. I mean, I think it's very unlikely you're going to need a credit card and a driver's license in the middle of a marathon, but you never know when something goes wrong. You just never know, and they're lightweight, easy to carry. And the 2 watches, I debated not having it, but I wanted to do a GPS test in the desert, and the GPS that I show here is absolutely bang on. I mean, in Chicago, it was haywire, and that had led to some issues with my timing, but here it was absolutely perfect. In Chicago, because it's a big race, they had a sort of race tat. You could put a schedule on your arm, and that was really good. That wasn't available in the small race here, but I decided I didn't need it. I just literally ran out at a pace that I felt comfortable with the whole time. I was always happy. I have to say a big thank you to all of the race volunteers and all of the police at every junction. Everyone said hi, everybody cheered. Unlike Chicago, where there's people all over the place, I think I only saw one set of spectators, because you're out in the middle of the desert, and there was one set of family who waved and clapped, and thanks to them. But everyone was really super friendly at all of I think it's about every 2 miles at the start, and then every mile there are people, volunteers. But it was just a really wonderfully organised race. I'd like to thank Startline Racing, because they did a really super job of making me feel really comfortable. And I had some questions beforehand about the hotel. They came back instantly. In the end, there was a room rate for the hotel, and then but I was only a couple of nights, and I need to say several. I ended up booking it that way, but I also ended up booking it myself because I needed an overlap at start and finish, because I only did the couple of race nights. And then I ended up cancelling all those and booking the same hotel on Hotels Tonight. So that's turned out to be the cheapest option. And then I was surprised in the desert at just how beautiful it was. I mean, I expected it to be mundane. It was anything but mundane. It was constantly interesting. The change of light, the change of the clouds, the sun on the rocks. I could not recommend this marathon any more highly to any of you who want to travel away to do a marathon. Arizona, like I said it before, is stunningly beautiful. I mean, here in Monument Valley, I've made some other videos that will come out with running around here, but it's absolutely beautiful. I'm staying here in the View Hotel. Thoroughly recommended. It's owned and run by the Navajo Nation, and it happens to have the best view, and it's a really nice hotel anyway. But regardless, just the fact that it's run by local people is a real attraction in me staying here. It's phenomenally beautiful. It's phenomenally peaceful. Yeah, if you can get to this part of the world, do. In the race, I mean, you know, titled Racing Arizona, I thought I would have the Harry, Barry, Larry, Garys and Nathan Juniors, but there was only 96 people in. I was the Barry. There was no Harry, there was no Larry, there was no Gary, and there certainly weren't any Nathan Juniors. But there was a lot of really nice people. Because of COVID, it was, I suppose, less easy to mingle, but I did meet some really nice people at the race. So yeah, it's a lovely, friendly race. Come run it. Hey, that's enough of me talking. Have a look at the view. Wow. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, it'd be great if you hit the like button. As always, there'll be lots of stuff down in the descriptions, and I'll happily answer any questions that you put into the comments. There'll be a big blue subscribe button popping up there, and some later videos there. Thanks for watching. Until the next marathon, Zurich, just keep running along. I'm pretty tired. I think I'll go home now.